The fourth and final port of my Norwegian Fjords cruise aboard P&O Iona was at Haugesund. Before getting off the ship, I finally decided to brave the Haugesund buffet. I hadn't thought much of the buffet on my previous P&O sailings. Although I will say it was a bit better on Iona. It wasn't as clean as I would like, but I suppose other passengers are also to blame. Although they probably did need to have a few more sausages. All in all, the food was fairly good, it was reasonably warm, and it filled a hole. It wasn't long after this I was off the ship and heading into town. And to continue the weather theme of this entire cruise, it was cold, wet and windy. If you're looking to book the hop-on, hop-off bus, or maybe even a more exciting adventure, you can do so here. We decided to take the port shuttle bus into town. It cost 70 kroner, which is about £5, and takes 7 minutes to get there. And if you so choose, there are taxis available here. It looked like taking the shuttle was the right move, as soon after it quickly started to rain. And of course, if you don't mind walking or getting wet, you can walk into town and it takes about 15 minutes or so. And by doing this, you'll get great views as you cross the Risør Bridge. As the bus turned the corner, I saw this quaint little coffee shop and made a mental note to go here later. And this was my first glimpse of the main high street at Haugesund. And the shuttle dropped us off at just a short walk away from the main shopping area. The plan was to have a mooch down the high street and then a walk along the riverside. And if anyone's a fan of the Super Club board game, their headquarters is right here. I would describe the shops here as being fairly eclectic. And that red phone box reminded me of home. And they had a great selection of drinking horns, if that was your style. And there were quite a few shops selling bric-a-brac. And others were selling toys and clothes. And there were plenty of small cafes if you fancied sitting down, grabbing a drink and a bite to eat. My overall feeling walking around the shopping area was that it reminded me of the new towns built in the UK after the Second World War. If you're looking for more things to do in Haugesund, there's this tourist information centre. Unfortunately, our stay in Haugesund wasn't for too long, so unfortunately we didn't have any chance to explore the local area. And as it was starting to rain again, I found my way over to the cafe that I'd seen as I crossed over the bridge earlier. There was plenty of choice on the menu, although we were just looking for some small plates to share. So we went for the bread and aioli, and the French fries with herbs and Parmesan cheese. And somebody did go for the sorbet of the day with fresh berries. I decided to head down to the riverside to explore down there. And one of the things I did want to see while I was here was the statue of Marilyn Monroe. And I know what you're thinking, why the hell is there a statue of Marilyn Monroe in Haugesund, Norway? So as the story goes, Marilyn's father was a baker here before emigrating to the United States. And here it is. I can't say it's a particularly flattering likeness, but it was nice to see nonetheless. This is one of the stops for the hop-on, hop-off bus. It was probably a nice way to get around the city, but at 450 kroner, which is about £33, I felt it was very expensive. The riverfront area is one of the most popular for tourists, although on a day like today when the weather was so bad, there wasn't too many about. However, there were many bars and restaurants to hang out in. Another way to explore the city is on the tourist train, and this is a cheaper option than travelling by the hop-on hop-off bus. It's 290 kroner or £22 each. And much like two of the previous ports at Stavanger and Haugesund, Haugesund has a long history with fishing, especially herring. And Haugesund, in the same way as Stavanger, has turned to the petroleum industry due to declining fishing. However, on Torgata Square, there's a statue called the Fisherman, with its fountains and waterfalls that represent the sea. And then there are the two fishermen themselves, representing the industry on which Haugesund was built. And while waiting for the shuttle, I checked out some local landmarks. This is the Wangrel Museum, named after Haugesund Wangrel, who was a Norwegian shipowner and politician. And secondly was the neo-Gothic Our Saviour's Church, that was consecrated in 1902. And from here you could see Iona looking majestic in the distance. And now it's time to get back on board the shuttle bus and head towards the ship. And it was nice to have one last look at the town as we headed over the bridge. And once on board I was feeling a little bit peckish, so I decided to check out the quays and see what was available there. And this salad bar, dessert and drink area is perfect for a little bit of a snack. It's not noted on any map and bizarrely was never really that busy. But I thought it was really ideal. And after having that snack, I decided to head outside and watch my final Norwegian sail away, before heading back to my cabin to freshen up for the evening. Tonight was going to be a slightly different affair. Half of us were going to the main dining room and then watching a comedian, while the other half went to see Voix, which is an upcharged dining and drag show event in the Limelight Club. So I went to the main dining room Coral Restaurant. And as always, the menus here are full of choice. You just can't make your mind up, you can always go with a chef's recommendation. For my starter I went with a sausage and duck liver in puff pastry, followed by the smoked pork loin. To be honest, I wasn't too hungry, but this food was perfect. And then I headed up to the clubhouse to check out Impressionist John Clegg. and his show was actually not too bad.
Oh dear, no, I didn't. I had this lady, she came up to me after my first show, and you've got to let me know if this is a compliment. Nervousness for good, that's good, that's good, good. Oh, that's good.
And meanwhile, down in the Limelight Club, the Voix show was in full effect. Tonight's performance of Greatest Days had to be cancelled due to injury. And instead we were going to get a show called Sky's the Limit, which worked out well for me because I'd seen Greatest Days the night before. I felt that Sky's the Limit was the best show I saw in Iona. I felt that the music was great and the story worked well together. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on.